We have got two trade offers for quarterbacks. If we make these, this could change the fortunes of my Dynasty team forever. Welcome back into Off the Wire, the series where I take a Dynasty team built entirely from the waiver wire and try and turn it into a contender. Now, for the past few weeks, we have been talking about trying to make some trades to get this thing started, to really get this team starting to take shape. We've been playing the waiver wire, we've been making a few moves, but I think it's time to start looking to buy some players to add to the team and start to make it actually start to resemble a bit of a roster. And if you've been following the past few episodes, you'll have seen that the main question that I have about this team is quarterback. So at the end of the last episode, I went through and I liked on Sleeper, on the trade block, basically every player that I was slightly interested in making a move for and that I thought we might realistically be able to get. And that included quite a few quarterbacks. There are a few QBs out there that I think we may be able to buy. And now I think is a fantastic time to buy quarterbacks in Superflex leagues because people undervalue quarterbacks in the offseason and overvalue them in season. When you're playing in a Superflex format, obviously in 12 teams, there's not enough starters to go round between everyone, which means that you can really feel the pinch if you don't have a quality QB3 in the season. And suddenly players who weren't particularly valuable in the off-season are at peak value in season. I managed to sell Marcus Mariota for a second a few years ago when he was playing for the Commanders, purely because he was a starting quarterback and was therefore producing value. So to me, it makes sense to try and buy some quarterbacks now rather than waiting until we're in the season. But I'm going to jump straight into this one and show you the quarterbacks that we have had a couple of offers for us to buy. So we are straight in to have a look at the two quarterback offers, and you can see them in front of you. I'm going to have a bit of a scroll through and talk about my initial feelings on both them. And as you can see, they're for players that are probably undervalued at the moment, going to start this season for at least half of the season. So a bit of a question of if this is someone that we're looking to buy right now. If you look at some of the league activity, there's not been a huge amount. Mike Gesicki was taken off waivers. Obviously, Riley Leonard then added. I actually did make an addition. I added Elijah Moore for Raheem Mostert. Elijah Moore, that was someone was mentioned a few times in the comments to me, so someone that I think actually maybe can win a job, maybe starting out of the slot, or maybe just playing some of the snaps in Buffalo and therefore hit some peak value and potentially over Mostert. And then you see, obviously, yesterday when there was the rumours about Justin Fields' injury, Tyrod Taylor was added. Now, I did initially make a claim for Tyrod Taylor, but I thought it seems like Justin Fields is going to be starting in week 1, so probably just a waste of a roster spot at this point in time. Maybe that was wrong. We'll see. But let's get into the trade. So the first one that we have is from Funky Jankets, and this is for Daniel Jones. Now, this seems like it might be a little bit of a steep offer. The 2 seconds that he's included are both mine, so 2026 and 2027, probably the 201 and the 301. So this would be sending away Brashard Smith, one of my favourite players on my team and one of my favourite rookies to come in, for Daniel Jones. And I'm also sending away the 201, and let's be honest, the 201 in 2027 as well, and getting back his 2026 second and his third round pick in 2028. So if you kind of see this as, for this bit here, we're trading back maybe 6 to 10 slots, or maybe not even at all. It might be worth having a little bit of a look at his team and seeing how we think he might be able to compete this year. It's slightly too early to really think about whether or not this is a contending roster that we have from Funky Jankets, but let's take a little bit of a look and see who he has. So Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Brock Bowers, Jerry Jeudy, Aaron Rodgers. The quarterbacks are really rough. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson. This roster could compete based off the wide receivers. The quarterbacks are kind of letting it down, but Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Brock Bowers is a hell of a foundation. So I wouldn't be 100% confident that this is going to be that high of a pick. So trading back, 6 to 10 slots in the 2026 second round, then sending a second for a third and Brashard Smith. To be honest with you, this feels a little bit expensive to me. I think if you value Brashard Smith as maybe an early 3, so maybe the same as a 2026, my 2026 third, this feels a little steep to me for Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones as a trade target right now, but maybe not for this price. I think he's being undervalued because it seems quite clear to me that he's going to start day one in Indianapolis, but maybe he doesn't hold on to the job. So feels a little bit steep for me when we're trying to just take a few pot shots and see if there's some quarterbacks that we can pick up. But for both of these, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments if you would make these trades. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, should we go and grab that quarterback right now, or should we potentially then wait? Let's take a look at the other one and you can see who this is for. So this is sending my 2026 second, which is obviously going to be the 201 for Russell Wilson. To be honest, this one is probably a no as well. I do have an extra second. So maybe if it was sending the later second that I have, everything's going to be later than my picks for Russell Wilson, this would feel a little bit better. And I do like the idea of starting to make some moves happen. Russ is obviously an older player. How old is Russell Wilson at this point in time? Let's have a look. It won't let us just click on his name on Sleeper. So let's just search for him and have a little bit of a look. I think he's 36. He is 36. He's been announced as the starting quarterback for this season. They obviously have Jackson Dart as well. So Russ would be a player I'd be really interested in, but maybe instead of spending the 2026 second on Russell Wilson, we could try and send an offer for a couple of threes and see if we can get a second back from Russ in season. That's probably more interesting to me than making this move at the current price point that we can see it for. But what I really like is that I'm starting to get offers through from some league mates for these players. So for both of them, what I want to know from you guys is, would you rather target Daniel Jones? Would you rather target Russell Wilson? Russ probably higher in-season value for 2025, but obviously not the same amount of longevity as Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones going to be around for longer. Is he going to be a starter for longer? I'm not 100% sure. And with that in mind, if there's any quarterbacks that you're looking and you think you need to be targeting this player instead, absolutely let me know down below in the comments, because I'm quite into the idea of making a move for a quarterback, seeing what I can do, and trying to get someone on my roster that I think is going to help my team going forwards, but also that their value is going to inflate, that we are going to buy them slightly cheaper right now than I think they're worth. That value is going to inflate in season. So of the starters in the league currently, is it Tyler Shugg? Is it Matthew Stafford? Is it Geno Smith? Who do we need to be looking for? Try and buy cheap right now, let their value inflate, and try and sell them for a profit later on, or just keep them on our team for a bit later on as well. That is going to do it for today's episode. I'm going to switch to fortnightly formats going forwards. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video in case people haven't watched all of the way through, but you've got a secret little nugget if you have stayed around, so I appreciate you staying for that, just because there's not a huge amount of activity in the league right now, and I want to make sure there's a lot for me to talk through with you when I do these videos. So the next one's going to be in a couple of weeks, but let me know down below if you think I should accept these offers, what you think I should counter with, or if there's any other quarterbacks that you think I need to be targeting. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks this time. See you later.